Welcome. My name is Lance Christian. I'm the Executive Director of the ALS Association Oregon and Southwest Washington chapter. Thank you all for joining us. We come together today to remember, honor, and celebrate those affected by ALS in our local community. We're grateful for our partnership today with the First Unitarian Church of Portland's music ministry, Duro Farrar, Reverend Thomas Disrude, and the amazing musicians who you'll hear today. We gathered today to remember people with ALS who've lost their battle with this disease from December 2019 to December 2020. We come together to honor, to remember, and express our love, and to know that people made a difference in our lives. Today, you'll hear a musical litany. There will initially be a reading, musical litany. We will break for a second reading, and then a final musical litany in closing. Names may be in order, or they may be slightly out of alphabetical order, but we appreciate that you're here to hear the name of the loved one that you love and cherish. So thank you for joining us today, and just join me for one moment of silence as we remember our loved ones and launch into our program today. Our first reading is On the Death of the Beloved by John O'Donohue. Though we need to weep your loss, you dwell in that safe place in our hearts, where no storm or night or pain can reach you. Your love was like the dawn, brightening over our lives, awakening beneath the dark, a further adventure of color. The sound of your voice found for us a new music that brightened everything. Whatever you unfolded in your gaze quickened the joy of its being. You placed smiles like flowers on the altar of our heart. Your mind always sparkled with wonder at things. Though your days were brief, your spirit was live, awake, complete. We look towards each other no longer from the old distance of our names. Now you dwell inside the rhythm of breath, as close to us as we are to ourselves. Though we cannot see you with our outward eyes, we know our soul's gaze is upon your face, smiling back at us from within everything to which we brought our best refinement. Let us not look for you only in memory, where we would grow lonely without you. You would want us to find you in presence, beside us when beauty brightens, when kindness glows and music echoes eternal tones. When orchids brighten the earth, darkest winters turn to spring. May this grief flower with hope in every heart that loves you. May you continue to inspire us, to enter each day with a generous heart, to serve the call of courage and love until we see your beautiful face again. In that land where no more separation, where all tears will be wiped out from our mind, and where we will never lose you again. We're grateful you're here today, and we join us in remembrance, in love, and in healing. Thank you, and please enjoy this litany.
Tarry on, you are not forgotten. Easton Aguilar, you are not forgotten. Odesako Sela, you are not forgotten. Caelis Asensio, you are not forgotten. Anna Boyd, you are not forgotten. Ava Ardelian, you are not forgotten. Michael Baker, you are not forgotten. Karen Basin,
you are not forgotten. David Brown,
you are not forgotten.
Everett Beidler,
You are not forgotten.
Pavel Bialowas,
You are not forgotten.
Penny Bohannon,
You are not forgotten.
Henry Brown,
You are not forgotten.
Guillermina Basan Mesa,
You are not forgotten.
John Briery,
You are not forgotten.
Georgia Carlin,
You are not forgotten.
Michael Klaus,
You are not forgotten.
Julie Brizendine,
You are not forgotten.
Christine Bundy,
You are not forgotten.
Mark Burford,
You are not forgotten.
Ronald Cook,
You are not forgotten.
Stephen Carter,
You are not forgotten.
Timothy Cathcart,
You are not forgotten.
Ted Creekmore,
You are not forgotten.
Stephen Brown,
You are not forgotten.
Patrick Connolly,
You are not forgotten.
Acacia Collins,
You are not forgotten.
Charlene Davenport,
You are not forgotten.
Donald Drew,
You are not
Gabriel
forgotten.
Custodio Loesa,
You are not forgotten.
Mason Darley,
You are not forgotten.
Matthew Davis,
You are not forgotten. Arletta Fish,
you are not forgotten.
Billy Durkin,
You are not forgotten.
Janet Eder,
You are not forgotten.
Michael Estabrook,
You are not forgotten.
Richard Fish,
You are not forgotten.
Leandra Forcier,
You are not forgotten.
Victor Gilliam,
You are not forgotten.
Russell Haddon,
You are not forgotten. Scott Hall,
you are not forgotten.
Harry Haller,
You are not forgotten.
Catherine Harper,
You are not forgotten.
Jonathan Harrison,
You are not forgotten.
Norman Harp,
You are not forgotten.
Janet Haugen,
You are not forgotten.
Erica Hyder,
You are not forgotten.
Bruce Hunter,
You are not forgotten.
John King,
You are not forgotten.
Barbara Haugen,
You are not forgotten.
Richard Ibsen,
You are not forgotten.
Mark Herdering,
You are not forgotten.
Scott McRae,
You are not forgotten.
James Kuchna,
You are not forgotten.
Dennis Kenzie,
You are not forgotten.
Mary Libby,
You are not forgotten.
Michael Moore,
You are not forgotten.
Karen Lobeck,
You are not forgotten.
Susan Lovelace,
You are not forgotten.
Carrie Montgomery,
You are not forgotten.
Donald Moyle,
You are not forgotten.
Paul Mayer,
You are not forgotten.
John Manson,
You are not forgotten.
Richard Merrick,
You are not forgotten.
We are now taking a moment for a break for a reading, and then we will continue with our remembrance through song. I will be reading in Blackwater Woods by Mary Oliver. Look, the trees are turning their own bodies into pillars of light, are giving off the rich fragrance of cinnamon and fulfillment. The long tapers of cattails are bursting and floating away over the blue shoulders of the ponds. And every pond, no matter what its name is nameless now. Every year, everything I have ever learned in my lifetime leads back to this. The fires and the black river of loss, whose other side is salvation, whose meaning none of us will ever know. To live in this world, you must be able to do three things: to love what is mortal, to hold it against your bones, knowing your own life depends on it, and when the time comes, to let it go, to let it go. We will now conclude with the second half of our remembrance through song.
Matthew Orr,
You are not forgotten.
Harold Milner,
You are not forgotten.
Carl Malachowski,
You are not forgotten.
Stephen McClary,
You are not forgotten.
Ardle Page,
You are not forgotten.
Janet Miller,
You are not forgotten.
Robert Morgan,
You are not forgotten.
Martha Monkers,
You are not forgotten.
Michael Papp,
You are not forgotten.
Heather Nelson,
You are not forgotten.
Joseph Musabini,
You are not forgotten.
Dilip Nageshwaran,
You are not forgotten.
Brian Quinn,
You are not forgotten.
Ravender Sud,
You are not forgotten.
Tina Reisner,
You are not forgotten.
Renee Relly,
You are not forgotten.
Elmer Ringery,
You are not forgotten.
Jean Spar,
You are not forgotten.
James River,
You are not forgotten.
Carrie
You are
Robbins,
not forgotten.
Gary Roberts,
You are not forgotten. Robert Seidel.
You are not forgotten.
Mika Ronen.
You are not forgotten.
Angela Roche.
You are not forgotten.
Sergei Rovimov.
You are not forgotten.
Larry Stroll.
You are not forgotten.
George Rubaloff.
You are not forgotten.
James Gulacci.
You are not forgotten.
Robert Silvis.
You are not forgotten.
G. Tran,
You are not forgotten.
Mary Skillman,
You are not forgotten.
Kaspersky,
You are not forgotten.
Mary Somerset,
You are not forgotten.
Sarah Wells,
You are not forgotten.
Marissa Saldana,
You are not forgotten.
Timothy Stapleton,
You are not forgotten.
Dennis Stricker,
You are not forgotten. Preston Worth. You are not forgotten. Thomas Sudway. You are not forgotten. Norman Tinknell. You are not forgotten. Joanne Sullivan. You are not forgotten. Martin Yuri. You are not forgotten. Charles Thierheimer. You are not forgotten. William Tyson. You are not forgotten. Kay Waldron. You are not forgotten. Donald Wenzel. You are not forgotten. Ronald Warren. You are not forgotten. Ivan Ursache. You are not forgotten. Danielle Verheyden. You are not forgotten. Steve Weber. You are not forgotten. Nancy Weisel. You are not forgotten. Patricia Wheeler. You are not forgotten. Richard Williams. You are not forgotten. Margie Wilson. You are not forgotten. Russell Warden. You are not forgotten. Robert Reitman. You are not forgotten.
We would now like to take this moment for a moment of silence to honor and remember those who have lost their lives to ALS that were not named today. Please join me in doing so. And with that, we are going to conclude our program today. We want to share the sincerest thanks for the First Unitarian Church of Portland for collaborating and joining us today and remembering those who have been lost to ALS. And we thank all of you for joining us and wish you all and your families peace and love. We remember you.